Isaiah 66:23.
The book of Isaiah, chapter 66, verse 23. And it shall come to pass that from one new moon to another.
Hold on, for what?
From one new moon to another.
So the new moon is a separate occurrence. It is, what is a new moon? What is that? It says from one new moon to another.
1 month to another?
Hmm?
1 month to another month.
From 1 month to another month. Meaning every month we are to what? What does it say? From one new moon to another, read on.
And from one Sabbath to another.
And from one Sabbath to another, read on.
Shall all flesh come to worship before me.
So that's telling you that the new moon and the Sabbath are two separate holidays. Right? Because if the new moon is the Sabbath or is related to the Sabbath, then could it be one new moon to another? Okay? It's showing that these two are separate. They're two different holidays or feast days. The new moon and the Sabbath day. They're not the same day. They're not the same day. Right? The Sabbath day, by definition, let's get the definition of the Sabbath day. Give me Exodus, the 20th chapter.
Exodus 28.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy.
Right.
6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the seventh day is a Sabbath of the Most High thy power.
Right.
In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates.
Right. So here it shows us that 6 days we are to do our work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath. So now, what is the day after the Sabbath day? What is that day called?
First day of the week.
Would it be what day?
Sunday. First.
The first day. Right? It's not the 8th day. It's the first day.
I said first day of the week.
Right. Now you said first day.
Yeah, first day of the week.
First day. After the 7th day is the first day. So now if you're going according to the moon, after the 7th day would not be the first day. What day would it be? If the Sabbath was determined by the moon, after the 7th day would be what day? We can all count. The 8th day. Because how many days in a month? It differs. 29, right? 30, 31. Wait a minute. It says on the 7th day is the Sabbath. The next day, you cannot get the first day unless you're counting some other dispensation of time. It can't be according to the month anymore. What starts over? The week starts over. The week starts over. The week determines the Sabbath day, not the month. Because a month, like we already just said, it can have 28, 29. How are you going to count that? What are you going to say? It's the first and 8th day? I don't know. You're dealing with confusion. Right? It's the 8th day of the month. It could be. But it's the first day of the week. Weeks are what the Most High is showing us on the Sabbath day. Not months. Okay? Months are according to the cycle of the moon. The moon has 4 major cycles. What's the 4 major cycles of the moon? You have to, what some people like to call the dark moon, right? When you don't see the moon. Because they don't want to call it the new moon, because they believe the new moon is another time, right? So I entertain that thought pattern, and we call it the dark moon. And then what's the next major phase of the moon?
Full moon.
No?
Crescent.
Half.
Crescent.
Half is the next major. What's the next major after that? Full. What's the next major after that? Half again, right? And then you start back again with quote unquote dark. But dark is not in the scriptures, right? There's no thing called dark moon in the scriptures. So the fact that you calling it dark moon shows that you are not knowing the scriptures, because there's no scripture that's called it dark moon. But there's something called the new. Why is it new? Because it's about to go through all its phases and become new again, and then go through all its phases. And when it's over, that moon time, that month, that's why moon and month, when that month is finished, and we finish seeing that moon. And when the new month comes in, we see the moon again. Right, go ahead.
A question.
Right.
So when they declared the new moon by the lunar Sabbath or whatever, I mean the Sabbath, lunar Sabbath, right? So after their new moon, that's when the Sabbath is, that week, the next week, that the day the new moon fell on?
Correct. Correct. According to that doctrine, you count 7 days from the new moon, and you get the Sabbath day.
And then the next day would be the open day, the 8th day after that, right?
I don't know what the next day is.
I don't, I'm a little confused.
It was supposed to be, I guess, the first day, right? After the 7th is the first. Or a week. Okay?
Is the full moon doctrine also involves itself with the blank days thing?
Right, the 0 days.
Yeah, the 0 days. What is that?
There's no scripture that says 0 days. It's not scripturally sound. This is not sound doctrine. Okay? Sound doctrine, you go right to the scriptures and see what it is. Give me Deuteronomy 10 and 10.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, verse 10. And I stayed in the mount, according to the first time, 40 days and 40 nights. And the Most High hearkened unto me at that time also, and the Most High would not destroy thee.
Slap, read that?
Deuteronomy 10:10.
That's not on one slap, the number 17.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say.
It was just a spirit. We made it touch on this little thing.
The book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 10. Also, in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months.
And the what?
And in the beginnings of your months.
Right. In the beginning of your month. Okay. The word month derives from the word moon, because the moon determines the months. Okay. The beginning of it. When something begins, is it at its fullness, or does it have to grow? Right? When something begins, it then has to grow. So the moon begins with nothing, and as the month goes on, it grows to its fullness, and then what? It diminishes back down to nothing. Why? Because after that nothing comes. What's coming up next? The following month, another moon. It's not the same. This moon is moon. Let's say we're in what month we're in right now. What's that? Monday is going to be a new moon, right? We're starting a new month. We're starting a new moon cycle. Every time we start a new moon cycle, we start a new month. You cannot start the month at the fullness of the moon, because you're in the fullness. That means you're continuing within the same moon, right? Your moon has already grown. You've been looking at the same moon as you watch it go from crescent to half to 3/4 to full. That's the same moonlight you see. And then you go watch it diminish. So when has it begun? Had it begin when it was dark? And then it grows. And then it diminishes. It grows and it diminishes. And that's the cycle of the moon. Okay? It can't possibly be at full moon. Okay? That doctrine is all based on misunderstanding of something that was written in the Strong's Concordance or the Blue Letter. All right? What do you want to bring that? Do you have, I got mine right here. Was it,
Let it Bible?
yeah. Or if you bring the Strong's up there,
Where's remote?
put it on the screen.
Yeah.
Where's the remote? There's nothing here. Everything's been organized. Nothing here. The only thing here is this
You got it where? Got it in your head. Let's look at it. I got the blue letter. I'm bringing up the blue letter. Looking for a remote to turn the TV on so we can put it on so everybody can see it.
Someone moved
So
it.
you saying, talking about you making stuff up?
See, just behind him. Where? But that's not it. That's for something else.
Mosquito.
So I don't see it. It's not over here. You see it? That's not it.
I'm pointing at the same thing.
I think someone moved it, when we came back.
Oh, you did? And this side don't. I can't climb the wall.
What? Do you see over there behind you? No, it's not.
No, I haven't.
No, I don't see it.
No.
Just those you
Yeah, we bring it up on the screen. But while they're bringing that up, we continue. Get on Psalms 81.
Yeah.
There you go, slide it over. There you go. There you go. You got it. Bring those far back up. Video on this screen.
Read it.
Yeah, read.
The book of Psalms, chapter 81, verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon,
Right?
in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day.
Right. So now we gotta look at this and see if this thing is correct. Let's bring it up in the blue letter. And I want to know if the folks at home are they able to see the blue letter? Can they see that screen? Are they able to see the screen?
I can't do it. You gotta show me it.
Yeah, that's right.
You gotta be able to split screen.
I can see it live.
Is it too bright?
Yeah, there's a glare.
It's probably because of these two front lights over here.
Yeah, there's gonna be a glare.
Yeah.
Or you probably lift it up towards the TV to see the focus.
You gotta switch it back.
Yeah, but you won't be able to see how it looks.
You ever check
Yeah.
You ever check it?
Huh?
If you lift it up towards the TV, it might focus. So So you can
Yeah, but you have to open those.
But they have to look at their own blue letter. We just gonna explain it. Like to help them out at home. But if not, they got their own blue letter. They look it up. If they don't got it, download it on your phone. All right, Blue Letter Bible.
Switch it back.
What the Blue Letter Bible allows you to do is look up the Hebrew and the English. But you have to keep in mind that we don't speak Hebrew, and we have to learn how to speak Hebrew. Because us learning how to speak Hebrew, we will better understand words and won't be able to be misled by what we read. Now, mind you, Blue Letter Bible, the Strongs, and all of that, all these books, including the King James Version Bible, right, have been compiled and translated to English by people that had certain doctrines in mind. So there are bones in these things, right? Even in the Bible. What's a bone that's in the Bible, the English Bible, that we all know of?
Virgin.
What's that?
Virgin.
The word virgin is one. Give me another one. What about God? Right? The word God, when you start to read the Hebrew, has so many different references. And they just throw the word God out there, right? It could be Yahweh, it could be Elohim, right? Or Elohim, but they just put God, right? It can be world or Lord, Adon, Adon, Adonai, right? They put the word Lord there. So what I'm showing you is that when we read these things in English, we go to the Hebrew to try to get a higher understanding, a deeper understanding. When there's confusion. Confusion that we're talking about tonight, right? Which just so happened to become the topic of the class, is the Sabbath and the new moon. Okay. Some people want to relate the Sabbath to the new moon. That's incorrect. We want to show why that's incorrect. Some people want to say the new moon is the full moon. That's also incorrect. But we're going to show why that's incorrect. All right. We're going to show how they came up with that idea, because it makes sense how they came up with it, but they had to look a little deeper, but to get reason for their understanding. Okay, all right, you got it in 81? Yeah, 81. It's Genesis.
I had to open up a new page.
So let's read it from one again. Okay, first three. 81 and 3.
You want to start from 3?
Yeah, 81 and
You click tools.
3. All right. Well, just read it as we read it. We read it. Okay. Read it again.
Book of Psalms, chapter 81, verse 3. Blow up the trumpet in the new moon,
Right?
in the time appointed, on our solemn feast day.
All right, let's just look at that part. So, blow up the trumpet in the new moon. So, for the word new moon, what word they have there?
Kodesh.
Kodesh. Now, is that what Kodesh means? New moon? Right? Let's see what Kodesh means.
You click the number.
Yeah, pick the number. H23.
So the strong.
Now, what does Kodesh mean? To translate Strong's following manner month. 254 times in the scripture, Kodesh meant month. Okay? Everybody see that? Now, they reference Kodesh as new moon 20 times, monthly 1 time, and another 1 time. Okay? So, Kodesh. The strongest definition for Kodesh is month. Month. Everybody understand that? Right? A lunar month. Now, it so happens that a lunar month begins at the new moon. But The word Kodesh means month. All right, it's applied as new moon in the scripture because it's understood in the reading. So when a person was reading it in the Hebrew, that this was referring to a celebration that we had at the beginning of the month. Why do we celebrate the beginning of the month? Read that, Numbers 10 and 10 again.
The book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 10. Also, in the day of your gladness, and in your solemn days, and in the beginnings of your months, ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offerings, and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your power.
Right. So why is it a celebration of the moon of the month? Because why? In the first day of the month, according to the law of Moses, the law that the Father has given us through our prophet Moses, is that we're supposed to celebrate. Okay? The first day of the month, we're supposed to celebrate. Anybody understand that?
Come on.
Right? We're not celebrating because the moon did something. We're celebrating because it's the first day of the month. And every first day of the month, we celebrate. Let's go to the next one. What are we celebrating? The Father has given us another month. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Now, in the time appointed, the Hebrew word kesed, H3677. Let's look at that. All right. So this is where a lot of people, it says one of the definitions of kesed, right, is full moon. So they go, oh look, it's the full moon, right? And then you go down here, it has more definitions, right? What does it say? Apparently from 3680, properly, fullness, or the full moon, i.e., it's festival time appointed. So it's leading you, when it says time appointed, it's leading you right to what they call the new moon. And now it's telling you the full moon. So you're like, wait a minute. This is a doctrine being shown here. Because when you read it, you read the words, kesed. Does it mean all that? Let's look at the word kesed. Let's look deeper into that word kesed. What's the root word of kesed? Apparently from 3688. Everybody see that? Root word, the etymology, where does the word kesed come from? Right? It comes from kasab. Right? Let's click on kasab. Let's look at the meaning of kasab. Cover, hide, conceal, covering, overwhelmed, clad, closed, clothed. Right? Now, on the new moon, right? According to what we understand the new moon to be, what is the condition of the moon? Do you see it? So, wouldn't it be covered or hid or concealed, overwhelmed by darkness, clad, closed, because you don't see the light, or clothed, because it's covered up? That's what we see when you go on the new moon. This is what we see on the new moon. This is exactly what we see on the new moon. Right? This is dead on what we see on the new moon. Right? So that shows that what? In the writing, there was a doctrine being expressed. But that's why the Most High had opened up this Hebrew to us. Because had we spoke Hebrew, we would read that in the Hebrew and without their translator, without Strong's translator or Blue Letter translator, we read the Hebrew as Hebraic people coming up, we would understand this in reading that chapter. Because we know that we already got a phase of a moon called the full moon when we see the whole moon. Right? We wouldn't be able to be told that how is the new moon going to be the full moon. Why do they call the new moon the full moon? Why not just call it the full moon? What's new about it? Okay. You see, to have new moon and full moon back to back in a sense that doesn't grammatically make any sense. It's just like they're trying to put something in there. It says, what we learn as we read this is that what? It is Kodesh. Kodesh is month. Right? When month is another word for month is moon. When the moon is what? Concealed, hid, covered. It's our solemn assembly. Not when it's full. Okay. When it's concealed, hid, covered. It's right there. When you put it there, it's right there. Right?
When we put up the thing I showed you at last Friday class, that was in the lexicon for kiss.
Yeah, we did that. Now we're going to look at the lexicon. I'm going to put up the lexicon.
Zoom in. But it's right here.
Right here. Let's read that. Can you read that?
I'll read that?
Yeah.
Let's see.
You want to read it from my phone? You can read it from
I can see it. Kesa, Proverbs 7:20, Psalms 81:4, the full moon.
Right.
According to Isa Bar Ali, concerning whom see pref to smaller, is the first day of the full moon, also the whole time of the full moon.
Oh, let's read that again. Proverbs 7:20, right? And Psalms 81:4, right? It says the full moon, right? Now it is according to the, what is that? Isa Bar Ali, right? Everybody see that? Right? Okay, according to the Isa Bar Ali, it is the full moon. Okay? Concerning whom see preference, right? So it's a reference to smaller Hebrew German lex, right? So the smaller Hebrew German lex makes it the full moon. You understand where that knowledge is coming from? It's coming from the smaller Hebrew German lex by Isa Bar Ali, right? Read on. It's the first day of the full moon, right? Also the whole time of the full moon. And so it is often used by who? By who? Bar Hebrews, right? And Ephraim Cyrus, the etymology is not clear to me, for it is not satisfactory to say that it is so called from the whole moon, being then covered with light, right? From the root verb of covering are often applied in the sense of hiding. So he's saying it doesn't make sense for them to say covered means covered by light. Because this word kisa often means what? Hiding. It doesn't mean covering with light. So even he's looking, even Esau in his own breakdown is debating his own breakdown, saying it don't make sense what they said by calling it the full moon. Right? The German Hebrew German lexicon. This author is saying this doesn't even make sense. So how could they come up with this? How could they determine that this is the light? Because the verb of covering are often applied in the sense of hiding and cover, but never, as far as I know, to that of giving light. That word never meant giving light. For them to call it the full moon is something that they just put up in there. Because it doesn't go according to the Hebrew use of that word. The word. Let's prove that. Go to H36, 76.
We see it. I don't see it.
It's down. Or 30.
Right here?
Is that the last one we on? Yeah. Is that the root word? Yeah, that's up. Now let's go down and see where that word comes up in the scripture.
Right down?
Search that word. Search the root word. Let's see how it was used in other chapters and verses. Right. You're going down, just go down.
Oh, okay.
Right. So we're going to go to.
Say keep going down, right? I never use a computer, so.
No, you're already in it. This is where I want you to go.
Okay.
Yeah, you're already in it, right? What you see here are the verses where that word is being used in the context and that's being used. Okay? So we can pull any one of them. Right? Go to Genesis. I like to start thinking Genesis. Let me see what we got in Genesis. All right? Thou shalt, what was that? Genesis 41 and 40. Right? It says, thou shalt be over my house, and according unto the word shall all my people be ruled. Only in the throne, right? And then you have covered, or kisa, will I be greater than thou, right? Let's look at Exodus 11 and 5. All right. In fact, click on that verse.
This one, right?
On the verse. Just on the verse.
Yeah, good. You want me? No, you click on the. Which word?
Yeah.
I clicked the verse.
You click tools. You click tools. Click Exodus 11 and 5 right there. You see it right next to it. What it says Exodus 11 and 5. There you go. Thank you. And all the first in the land, right, of Egypt shall die, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sitteth upon the throne, even unto the firstborn of the maidservant that is behind the mill, and all the firstborn of beasts. That word behind is kisa, right? So they use that word kisa as behind, to cover, to be over. All right, it was never used to give light. That's why it's not grammatically correct in Hebrew to say that kisa means full moon. Even though it says so in the Strong's, we're at the point the Most High is coming back to his children. All right, we're at the point where we're going to correct the Strong's. We're going to correct the Blue. We're going to correct the King James Version Bible. Because why? The Most High is giving his spirit back to his children. Give me Colossians 1 and verse 26. Now let's go back.
We want to go back to it.
You went back to that. Okay. Let's look at another verse, just so we have a consistency. Go down. Go down. Let's take that one. Get 1 Samuel 1 and 9. You see where the word lands? Let's see how they translated 1 Samuel 1 and 9. So they Kisa, it says, so Hannah rose up after they had eaten in Shiloh, and after they had drunk it, now Eli the priest sat upon a seat by a post of the temple of the Lord. I'm trying to see, what was the word? I think it's upon in this sentence. I think upon was Kisa. Go back.
Yeah, it was a part. No, it's not.
Hit it, age 36, 78. Scroll down. Throne. All right, it was throne. Kisa. Properly covered, i.e. a throne. Seat, stool, throne. Right. But still properly the word is covered. So the word is used, diligently to be covered or seated or on top of something blocking. Okay. Blocking. So when the moon is being blocked or covered or the darkness sits upon the moon, because you cannot see a light, this is the new moon. Okay, not any other moon, not a crescent moon, not a full moon. This is the new moon that is being covered. All right. Go back and see if we get one more reference to the word Kisa. And this is the only scripture this whole misunderstanding comes from. Okay. Scroll down.
Second Samuel.
Go down more. Down. Keep going. So all this is using it as in the contents of throne. Go back up to the top. There was another reference number higher up. Up. It was 3677. Let's see that.
Press it.
Okay, that's back where it was at. Go down. There's two instances they try to use it to mean full moon. Right? In two instances in the old scriptures. Alright, so then when you go to the root word, go back to the root word. Okay, 3680. That's what I did. Now scroll down to the verses. Right. 3680. Right. So it's used for in Genesis 18:17, and the Lord said, "Shall I hide from Abraham the thing which I do?" What's the word for hide? Kisa. Right? Go down. In Genesis 37:26. And Judah said unto his brethren, "What profit is it if we slay our brother and conceal his blood?" What's the word? Kisa, or conceal. All right, so everybody see how they use the word? Genesis 38:14. All right, so all the way down you'll see it covered, concealed, everything that they said the word means, the root word means. So with that understanding is why we understand that the new moon and the full moon are two different phases of the moon. It's not the same phase of the moon. What's written in Psalms 81 It's not saying that it's a full moon. It's saying it's a new month. Okay, a new month, and the month starts the first day, and we determine a new month when the moon is concealed, covered, blocked, hid, and all the different definitions that it was given. All right, so this is why we do not follow in the doctrine of crescent moon or full moon. You understand that? All right, that's how we understand that our moon cycle is correct. Okay, we understand the moon cycle is correct. Now, the next topic was we touched was doing the moon by the month. Can you give me a calendar with the new moons? Okay, just a calendar that shows the new moon.
You said new moon calendar, right? Or just calendar?
Yeah, a calendar that has new moons shown. You actually bring up the new moon. These are the counting on the calendar.
What you looking for?
That's one right there, you want.
This one?
Did you show the new moons on this calendar?
No.
All right, while you're looking for that, get your pocketbook and give me Surah 43.
New moon calendar?
Calendar that shows the new moons.
This one right here?
You can't count that. We have no dates. When it's up to this one. You can look at this one.
I think this one is good too.
Yeah, you can look at that one. All right, let's look at this one. There's more than 1 month in there? Yeah. You can see it right.
Oh, this? I don't know. That's January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December.
No, I just need a calendar. I gotta count the days.
I just searched moon calendar.
Go to moon phases calendar.
Read that.
Sirach chapter 43, verse 7. From the moon is the sign of peace, a light that decreaseth in her perfection.
Right? You know?
The month is called after her name.
The month is what?
Called after her name.
So the month is called after her name. Called after whose name? The month is called after the moon's name. Whatever moon it is for the year, that's what the month is called after. Read on.
Increasing wonderfully in her changing.
And as the month goes on, after it's called after her name, it increases wonderfully of her changing. In that you watch the month as the moon comes in, you watch it grow to its fullness, and you watch it diminish back to a blank. You watch it grow to its fullness. That's what the scripture is talking about. Okay, it growing as you observe the moon. Right, the moon comes in, you watch it grow. Then the next moon phase comes in, and you watch it grow. All right. So that's how the new moon from new moon to new moon.
A couple of them were jacked up. I seen a couple of them were.
New calendar night to 2019. So that was 2019? Yeah. All right. Now give me, this one's good. February 2019. All right, let's look at it. Where's the new moon?
Oh, these little dots.
The 5th, right?
Yeah.
Let's count. So this was, if we would determine the Sabbath by the moon, right? You've heard that before, huh? Some people say you gotta start the new moon and count the Sabbath that way. So let's do that. Yeah, let's do it. Let's count. We'll count together, right? So the 5th is the new moon in February 2019. The 5th would be the new moon, right? Let's count. That means on the 12th, right? That'd be 7 days later. Everybody see that? Or would it be the 11th? Would be 7 days later, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 11th would be 7 days later. What's 7 days later from the 11th? Would be the 18th, right? 7 days later from the 18th would be what? The 25th.
Wouldn't it be the 12th? It's 7 days after the 5th.
Oh, that's true. You're right.
Yeah, it is.
So, all right, it's 12, right? That would be 7 days. So new moon would be on the Sabbath would be on the 12th. If you have the new moon on the 5th, the Sabbath would be on the 12th. That's one Sabbath. The second Sabbath would be on the 19th. Two Sabbaths, right? The third Sabbath will be on the what? On the 26th, right? Wait a second, gotta go down. The fourth Sabbath will be on the what? No, you can't move it over there. You can't put it on the 5th.
Oh, it's 1 thing.
7 days, right? Well, we have a problem here. Because now we have a day that's unaccounted for. Because what do we call this next day? Because you're supposed to start the first day on the 7th. Everybody see that? Because you're starting your count from the moon. So you're gonna be off a day. Now if that new moon was on the 5th again, then it would make sense. It would be consistent. It would be 7 days. Every week would be 7 days, 7 days. But that new moon is not on the 5th, it's on the 6th. But that throws off the count by a day. That means that week would have had 8 days, according to if the Sabbath was determined by the moon. You'd have a week of this month with 8 days. That's impossible. An 8-day week is impossible.
They say the 5th would be counted as the Sabbath. The new moon and Sabbath.
Right, but what day of the month is the new moon? The first day, right? Right. Let's do it next month. Do it next month. Let's do it next month.
That's February. Let's see a few more.
You can get like a good month's like. So let's look at that. So the new moon came in on the 6th. Let's do it again, right? So you got the 6th, right? Is the 6th day 1? Okay. So the 6th, the 13th, and the 27th is all Sabbath, right? Okay. What happened on the 3rd? What happened on the 3rd? Everybody see that? What happened on the 3rd? That's Sabbath? It's gotta be. If you're going by, if the Sabbath is every 7 days, right? And you got the 6th, the 13th, the 20th, the 27th, and then the 3rd. That'd be next 7th day, 3rd of April. Everybody see that? What's the 4th day? What day of the week is that? If it's the 2nd, it don't make sense because look, the new moon's on the 5th. What do you do? Start over? What do you do here? You can't continue. You're stuck. That's why, no matter how you look at it, I don't care what year you go. This is random. I didn't choose March 2019. It's just random. Because the moon is not consistent. The moon is on its own axis. It's not consistent with days. It's consistent with its own time. It goes through its phases at its own time. All right? It could be 30 days, 31 days, 29 days, right? When the moon does its full cycle. Okay? This is why you cannot do the Sabbath by the moon. Sabbath is every 7 days without failure. Right? Just like the sun rises, or the sun does its cycle 24 hours without failure. The Sabbath is every 7 days without failure. So it can't be by the moon. The Sabbath that we keep Friday sundown to Saturday sundown is the real Sabbath. Esau tries to hide it. Remember, Esau is the biggest thief on the planet Earth. If you're the biggest thief, don't you think they would have our Sabbath in their possession? Something that was so important to us. You know how important the Sabbath was to us? Get the book of Maccabees.
Second Maccabees 6.
Come.
There should be a spare one in here. Like, yeah, because there's no apartment for that.
There's no park for down here.
Oh, that's my part. Oh, yeah, you need it. Okay. No, I was looking for it. I didn't realize you had it. Go ahead.
The book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days.
So now, how can the white man outlaw the Sabbath day if he didn't know when it was? He obviously knew when the Sabbath day was. Because he made it outlawed for us to keep our Sabbath. So they were well aware of when our Sabbath was. It wasn't a secret when the Sabbath is. We acting like it was some big secret, the Sabbath, some hard breakdown. There's no hard breakdown. It was simple. All the nations knew when the Jews had their Sabbath. In fact, this calendar is based upon our calendar. The Gregorian calendar is based upon our calendar. You know why? Because Esau, before him taking this calendar, he had 8 and 9 and 10-day weeks. He didn't have 7-day weeks. He got the idea of 7-day weeks from the Israelites. We got 7-day weeks from Genesis, right? And he said on the 7th day he rested. 6 days he did all his creation. On the 7th day he rested. This is where the Sabbath comes from. This is where the idea that there's a 7-day time period that restarts. It comes from Genesis, right?
In Genesis, when you're talking about you created the earth in 7 days, you talking about like 7 days, like Esau like created his own time, like 24 hours. You talking about
Esau
that?
created his own time, 24 hours.
Yeah.
Esau didn't create hours. We was dealing with hours when we had a sundial. From the sun, we were able to determine hours. He didn't create hours.
I'm not sure the scripture, but I know the Most High said like
He would think to change times.
he said like 1 day to him is 1,000.
Okay, so now you're going into another understanding.
That's what I was
Okay. Whether 1 day with with the Most High is 1,000 years with man, he is explaining it according to days. And that on the seventh day, he established something. He didn't establish the 7,000 years, right? That's, this is an understanding that his days are different than our days. But at the same time, he's delivering the message to us in days, so that we observe our days the same way. That every seventh day we rest, because on the seventh day he rested. Now, his 7 day might be a dispensation of time different than ours, but he's showing us what we're supposed to do. He's hallowing and establishing the Sabbath on us. So we can't have an 8-day Sabbath or a 6-day Sabbath. It has to be a 7-day Sabbath. You understand what I'm saying? All right. So without getting confused with the prophecy of how many days, how many years between us and the Most High, that's a different topic. We know that he established the 7th day. The word for 7 in Hebrew is Shabbat. That's where we get the Shabbat day from, right? A lot of people think it means rest. It's referenced as rest, but it's also Shabbat means the 7th day, the rest day on the 7th day. Okay, now there's something called a Shabbat. That's like a feast day. That's like a new moon, which is also a rest day, but it's not a Shabbat. It's a Shabbat, meaning that it is a day of rest from work, but it's not the 7th day, right? The new moon is not the 7th day. The only thing that's the 7th day is the Sabbath. Every 7th day, perpetually, without end. So that's why the nations were trying to take our Sabbath from us. All right. Pull up the Julius calendar. Julius calendar. I'll show you something.
Oh, you asked for the other one. The calendar you mentioned. I thought you were going to ask for the other calendar, the Gregorian calendar.
We're on the Gregorian calendar. What's the Gregorian calendar? Julius. Julius.
Oh, you said OUS?
Julian calendar. Oh, Julian. Julian day calendar. You look that up. Look that up. That's totally. So what are you doing there?
This one right here?
That's Gregorian. There's Julian. How many days in the Julian calendar week?
7.
How many days in the Julian calendar week? 7?
10.
That's not Julian calendar. That's a Gregorian calendar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No. Let's put it back. You know what? Google 9-day calendar. I don't know. Maybe Google the wrong name.
It's not coming up.
Put Roman. 9-day Roman calendar. You know, you see that as different lettering. It doesn't say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. If you see that, it doesn't say that. It just has the Greek writing for the days.
I'm gonna try to find it. First.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find it.
All right, look for 10 day also. Maybe it's a 9 day installment. Maybe 10 days. And put Greek instead of Greek.
What's this?
So I know this is it right there, but it's all in Greek, so we're going to send that up.
This right here?
You can't read that. Yeah. But there's one that's legible. And you can read and show you how much days. They had 10 days in their calendar, 9 days in their calendar. Right?
What are all Julian calendar days? The Julian calendar days. And on the right.
No, that's 7 days.
Or a 10-day week. What do you think that is?
Say 10-day week.
Yeah. You keep researching the book file. What you reading?
Second Maccabees.
Get First Maccabees 1 and verse 42.
One and 42. First Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 43. Yea, 43? Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
41.
41. Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people,
right?
And every one should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king.
Come on.
Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion.
Right, so they always try to get the people unified under one umbrella. Okay? One religion, one world religion. Right now, that one world religion is called what? Christianity. And whatever Christianity say, that's what everybody's supposed to follow. Okay? That one world religion. It happened. We read it all the way back in the time of the Greeks that this was their purpose of blocking us from keeping our Sabbaths, taking away our high holy days. Right? But they had to know, they knew our high holy days. They knew the days we kept. And they were robbing them from us, killing us, and they caught us keeping those days. And some Hebrews, some Israelites, sell out Israelites, just like we have them today, right? And sell out is nothing new, right? Right? They went along with this. All right, read on.
And sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath.
And they what?
And profaned the Sabbath.
So it was always their approach to make us profane the Sabbath. So Esau is always his work to make us profane the Sabbath. We mean break the Sabbath. That's why what? All these jobs, they want you to work on Saturday, right? Saturday is the busiest retail day of the whole week. Why is that? Because it's in him to profane the Sabbath. He has to profane the Sabbath. It's in his spirit to do so. All right? So he don't even know why he makes Saturday such a big deal. Right? Everybody off on Sunday too, but no, the sale got to be Saturday. What difference does it make? More people probably off on Sunday than Saturday, but he still put that sale on Saturday. Why? Because it's very important that you profane the Sabbath. Okay. What about his nightlife, right? His bars and his clubs. What's the top night for their bars and clubs and stuff? Friday night. It's not a coincidence. It couldn't be Saturday night. Friday night. All the big concerts, Friday night. Right? Why is it on Saturday night? No, I need to have it Friday night. Why? What is the attraction of Friday night? Friday night is what? It's the Sabbath. And if you're the devil, you're going to try to make people break the Sabbath as much as you can. You're going to entice them. Give them something else to do, something else to be interested in during the Sabbath. Okay? So that's why there's so many spirits that show that Friday sundown to Saturday sundown is the Sabbath. Okay? Just looking at it spiritually, look at it technically, look at it scripturally, right? You know when the Sabbath is. You should not have any question in your mind.
You remember when we talked about during the tabernacles about the security gig? I just picked up the security gig, but they need me for Friday sundown and tomorrow from 8 to 2. So I had to shut that gig down, and we just talked about that gig too.
That's always like that. Huh? Always like that. They're gonna want you on the Sabbath.
And they need me tomorrow, tonight and tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. It's always going to be that challenge. Okay. If your Sabbath was random, floating around the place, they couldn't stop that. They wouldn't know when we was keeping the Sabbath. Okay. They knew exactly when. They said, yo, end of the week come, that 6th day, they shut down. Right? It used to be that they used to attack us the heathen used to attack us on the Sabbath day because they said we wouldn't fight. Because it was a Sabbath. That's how serious we kept our Sabbaths, man. We wouldn't even fight back our attackers for the Sabbath.
So in ancient days, when we was keeping the Sabbath, it was always so-called Friday and Saturday.
Right, but it wasn't called Friday and Saturday. It was called the 6th day of Eden to the 7th day of Eden. And that's how we gotta start to come out of it. We come out of speaking so much English and we start to speak more Hebrew, then we see how we did things better before we were slaves. You know what I mean? We see how we dealt with the math. But we had calendars. We knew our Sabbath, we knew our new moons for years going forward. We knew how to track the constellations, the planets. We didn't just look at the sun and the moon. Remember, in Genesis, go to Genesis. It's not just the sun and the moon we was tracking. You got that in Genesis 1 that I was thinking of. It's about red stars. Is that Chronicles?
What you looking for?
It's about red stars.
First Chronicles 12 and 32.
First Chronicles. All right, remind me say where you going? Genesis 1.
Find it, but it's a
Huh?
find it, but it's broken. You can't find a translation to it in English. I don't know why.
It's all written in
Yeah, Roman. I found it.
That's fine. That's all I need. I don't need an English translation. I just need to show that there's had that many days a week. Yeah, that's it.
Genesis chapter 1, verse 14. And the Most High said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven,
Right?
to divide the day from the night.
Come on.
Divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years.
Right. What's for days? What sign in the heavens is for days? The what? The sun. Right? For seasons. Well, the sun also. Right? When the sun is closer, we're in the summertime. When it's further away, we're in the wintertime. Right? You know?
And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth.
Come on.
And it was so. And the Most High made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also.
He made the stars also. So you see the stars in the sky. That's all production of the Most High. They all serve a purpose. All the lights in the heavens serve a purpose. They're not just decorations. Okay? All those constellations, all that serve a purpose. How do we know that? Now give me Chronicles. 1 Chronicles 12. Is it 12:22? 32. 12:32. Right, so this is the calendar. It's written in Greek, but each one of those lines depict a date. All right? I'm trying to find one that was translated, but it's not translated. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We had 13 days. I actually you can see the 13, the Roman numerals across the bottom. 13 days in a week. So they had a total different time scale than we were on. They adopted 7-day week from the Israelites, right? What they call a Gregorian calendar, King Gregory, right? He adopted our weekly structure, and then from that point on, they had 7-day weeks. But before that, they had 13 days of them. Okay, what you got?
1 Chronicles chapter 12, verse 32. And of the children of Issachar, which were men that had understanding of the times.
Right, these men had understanding of what? The times. What does that mean? Calendar. Time. They said how to work the stars and the moon, the sun. They knew how the earth was positioned and things of that sort. You know?
To know what Israel ought to do.
Right.
The heads of them were 200, and all their brethren were at their commandment.
Right. So what? They knew. They could look at stars and say, this is a good time to go do this. All right. The stars are aligned and things of that sort. They knew by looking up in the skies. We don't have that talent now, but we used to have that talent in Israel. The sons of Issachar. So look up and able to instruct us like this. No, it's not a good time. Right? Looking for Orion, looking for the different. Why did he saw? Listen, everything he got, he stole. You got to keep that in your mind. Everything he got, he stole. He created nothing. So when you see Esau got something, a lot of people say, well, that's you doing it white man's way. The white man's way is to steal your way. So oftentimes you're going to have to what? Retake your way back from the so-called white man. He's been holding on to your ways. So a lot of times you might look at him and as you learn about yourself because he got your documents. He got your artifacts. He got your calendars, the things that we wrote. The Vatican City is locked up with all our stuff. He don't just lock it up and leave it there. He don't study these things. He knows why we do what we do, what we did, and why we did it. Right? And he takes those things and go, okay, right? I'm gonna follow that. That's good. That's powerful. Right?
I got a precept for the talking about Israel rule, how the constellations and this and that. It's Wisdom of Solomon 7 and 17.
This is Psalm 7 and 17.
Come on, let's do
These Edomites, they had 13 days, and it was all out of whack. We put them in order. We put them in civilization. We lined them up. We gave them a week. We explained to them what a week was. And they took our documents, right? We explained to them what a day was. So they said, today with the devil, they said, okay, the day ends and begins when the sun goes down. I'm going to start my day and end my day at the darkest hour. Right? So they just did the opposite. Oh, you want to deal with the sun? Well, I'm going to go to the darkest hour. I'm going to go to the darkest hour is 12. Why is 12 the darkest hour? Why do they call it the darkest hour? Mathematically. Mathematically, why is that the darkest hour? You're the furthest away from seeing the sun again. You've been in darkness the longest period of time. You're going to be in darkness. You already been, from the sun went down or 7 o'clock or whatever, you've been all the way in darkness till midnight. And you're always going to be in darkness till 7 a.m. the next morning. So that's the middle of your darkness. That's the height of your darkness, in other words. Right? Just like in the daytime, we have the height of the sun at noonday, right? That's when the sun is at its highest point, right? It already rose in the east. It got to the highest point, and then it's going to set in the west, huh? The highest point is at noon. So the highest point is at noon. When's the lowest point? Midnight. That's why he started his day in midnight. Okay? And he starts his year when? In the middle of what? Winter. It's showing all the characteristics of the devil that's there. So we know that he perverts our way, but he knows our way. He always shows he knows our way. He knows our Sabbath. That's why Christianity pushed what? Sunday. Because if the Most High says worship on the last day of the week, if I'm the devil, what am I going to say? I'm going to take it to the first day. I'm going to do opposite. I'm going to do exactly opposite. Not that I don't know what the right way is, but I'm going to find the right way, and then I'm going to turn it backwards. All right? That's what he does. All right? That's how you can even use it. What he does to determine what we're supposed to do. Opposite to him. Now, listen. Right. Some of it is in a search. We're on a search to perfection, serving the Most High. So I understand the zeal in people trying to look at everything and super analyze everything and go into everything. I'm not hating, right? But when you go into it, don't believe it right away. That's the problem that we have. Brothers see things online, they see quick breakdown, they believe it and run with it before they really analyze it and test it, right? The elders have been teaching things a certain way because these things are tested, right? They stood up. We've defended this word against all these doctrines in the 90s, right? In the 80s, I wasn't around. I wasn't in the truth in the 80s. I was there in the 90s, right? But I'm sure the brothers was doing the same thing in the 80s, and they would do the same thing in the 70s, right? Of course. Okay, so my question is to you. So did I. I did the first day of the week start on a Sunday. But why is it that our people, not dealing with the truth right now, why is it that they don't know, and then when they come to the truth, they still don't know? They do know. Our people out in the world, a lot of them do know. But you know, Esau pushes Monday as the first day because why? That's the first day you back at the plantation. So it's the day he counts as you working your work week, the first day of your work week. But everybody says the same thing when they leave work on Friday. What do they say? Well, have a what? When they leave work on Friday, what do they tell you? Have a good what? Have a good weekend. Or you say, oh no, I'm working Saturday. Oh, you working this weekend? We saying it. Oh, you working this weekend? Oh, I gotta work Saturday. Oh, you working this weekend? So they're saying the truth, but they don't even realize they're saying it. If they gotta work Sunday and you see them on Monday at work, and then you go to them and say, man, first day in. He said, nah, I started my week yesterday. Right? They say it all the time, and they don't realize what they're saying until they come in this truth. They want to overanalyze everything. But you've been saying this. You knew that if you had to work on Sunday, you started your week early. You know if you had to work on Saturday, you were working on the weekend. Right? It's very simple. Right? It's in our daily speech. But you know, it's many things that's hidden for us right in front of our faces. Right? If we go over the months, October, November, December, clearly showing you 8, 9, 10. But on your calendar is what? 10, 11, 12. Nobody even questions it. Why is October the 10th month? We're in October right now. What in the word October tells you 10? But you know an octopus, an octagon, everything is what? 8, 8, 8. It's showing you it's 8, but it's hidden right in front of your face. That's what I'm showing you. Esau knows the truth. Don't think he's a fool. He knows the real, and then he perverts it. Right? That's his job. Right?
If you talk about Esau taking our stuff, I've been hearing this stuff about the so-called Star of David. I heard it's like the Star of Mulan.
Right. Now,
Red Prayer.
we have no proof of what the Star of Molech is. But the Star of Molech is not a star that you draw on a piece of paper or that you make in jewelry. The Star of Molech is in the sky where stars are. Right? Because it's a star. We just read it. He made the sun, the moon, and the stars. Right? Where? In the firmament. So the Star of Molech is one of the stars that they used to worship. That's in the sky. Okay? That's number one. The Star of Molech is nothing on the earth. That's a total misunderstanding. Okay? Now, the diagram of the six-pointed diagram, can't really call it a star. Why? Because star is not shaped like that. If you take a microscope and you look at the star, what shape are you going to see?
Circle.
Circle. It's not something in the sky shaped like this, floating around the sky. It doesn't exist, right? So we know that it doesn't make sense. Now, when the light shines, light gives off a pointy, right? Your eyes, when you see the light, even when you see a car coming that has bright lights, right? At night, a rainy night, it's going to look like the light is doing this, shooting out in every direction, right? Kind of looks like a shield because that's a natural occurrence, right? It's a natural occurrence. It has nothing to do with something formed before a God, okay? To think that the shield, that diagram, anybody got one? You got one on. Shield David or the Shield David is a Star of Molech. Again, you're going too deep into something. There is no Star of Molech on the earth. Okay? It was in the sky. It was in the firmament. They worshipped stars.
So that Star, Molech, that's the same thing as the Red Prayer.
The what?
Star of Red Prayer. Yeah, Red Prayer.
It's another star. All these stars are in the sky. Man takes something and makes it out to be a god. That's something that man does. Yahweh didn't do this. He didn't make a star of Molech upon the earth to trick y'all up, to see if y'all gonna serve that stuff. Are we really thinking, right? The Most High created star of Molech for us to look at it? No. Man creates idols. Everybody understand that? The imagination of man creates idols. We even made an idol out of things that the Heavenly Father gave us. Has given us, right? Remember the staff and the serpent around the staff? We made an idol out of that. It's not an idol. We made an idol out of it. That's why the Most High said I had to destroy it. Because of man's desire to make things into a god or a power or an idol. The star of Molech, the star of Griffin, all these star stuff this is in man's head. Okay? You cannot put your hand on these things. Okay? It's just stuff. Okay?
So-called Jewish people, they stole that from us?
Sure? Absolutely. They stole everything. They stole everything. They created nothing but havoc. Right? And death.
I had to take a picture and then people on like Instagram telling me, oh, take off that.
I know, because we're very religious as a people. And even when we come in this truth, we still got some superstitions still left up in us. Right? Let's be honest with it. That's something rooted in us as a people. We are a superstitious people. We're people that worry about stuff like that. You know? I remember somebody told me, get that Caesar Borgias out of the camp bag. Like it's gonna do something in the camp bag, like it's gonna curse my camp. What are you talking about? It's a picture of somebody who existed. We use it for edification purposes. Right? Right? This image made by Esau, little naked baby Cupid, right? Nasty would be just a pedophile by nature, right? We know this is pedophilia. Anything baby and naked flying around, that's pedophilia. Okay? Call it what it is. All right? It's filthy, it's disgusting. All right? But people make a god out of this and say, well, they got Cupid and he's shooting arrows in your heart because he loves you. Right? He's the devil that the Bible speaks of. Right? It's only Yahweh. There is only Yahweh. When people get this understanding in their mind, they really start to look at these scriptures, and understand the scripture a little deeper, and say, you know what is all this crap? Idols are in here. Most I said don't make any graven image, right? Of anything in the heaven above, earth beneath, or what under the earth, right? Don't bow down thyself to them nor serve them. That means don't take something that you've seen and make a god out of it. That's what he's saying. Don't take the shield that you see and make a god out of it. Don't make it the star Molech. The people that say that's the star Molech, do they realize that they're going off by saying that? That they're making an idol out of that? That they're making it out to be more than it is? We wear a shield, we're not making it out to be the symbol of Yahweh. Nobody said that. It's a historical thing from our past, from our heritage. Right? It's a flag, like it represents Israel, represents us. That's all we're saying. We're not saying that he got powers. We're not saying you got to put your shield on before you go outside. It's going to block bullets or something like that. Nobody's saying nothing like that. Man makes it out to be more than it is. Right? So now we say, okay, I'm going to wear the menorah. Listen, the menorah can end up being an idol if you're not careful. Right? Oh, I got to have the menorah on. Because I won't have the light. I won't be able to teach the word. Right? We have to cut all that superstitious nonsense out. Only Yahweh exists. And he gave us Yahweh Shai. Okay?
Is it any, like, if somebody asks me where is that in the scriptures, is it any scriptures that is good? Oh, you said it's called shield of faith?
Right. Now, there's a scripture that talks about it inside, right? Which could allude to we having some sort of flag. But none of the flags of Israel, you can go into the scripture, you gotta go into our history to see our flags, right? Kind of go into the scriptures a little bit to show you how they describe certain nations. Then we drew a picture according to the scripture. We don't have to prove, right? It's a natural occurrence, in other words. It's a pomegranate. If you need something out of the scripture, look at a pomegranate. The top of a pomegranate is a six-pointed diagram, just like the shield. Right. So if you want to go to something scripturally to see, where this diagram ends up in scripture, the pomegranate would be right?
Doesn't it represent like the top of the lily too, right?
The top of a lily.
I was about to say that. Some people correlate.
If you go into those that went to class, biology, right? You go down to the atom. What does it look like? What's it shaped like? With electrons, protons, and neutrons in it, right? It looks like the shield. If you look at the microscope, you look at a snowflake. It's a shield. It's all over the place. It's nothing like I'm trying to explain. It is not a man-made thing. It's a natural occurrence that man made into a god, right? Or a demon, right? You can make it a god or you can make it a demon. You can run away from it. Just like when he told us about, give me Jeremiah 10. Let me show you something. Karash, you had a couple of your hand up over time.
Yeah, I was going to make a comment about the conversation we was having before about the Sabbath day and why our people don't recognize, the right day. Like when I had a discussion with Christians about what the Sabbath day is and what we're supposed to be recognizing, they tried to say that Christ rose on Sunday, that's why they go to church on Sunday.
Yeah, I heard that. But that was just the old Catholic Church that established the first day of the week to be a day of worship. It's in the record books. So if they established the first day of the week to be the day of worship, well then what was the day before the first day of the week? It had to be the last day of the week before. Right? So that's how we can determine when the Sabbath day really is. All right? Read that.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10, verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Most High speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Most High, learn not the way of the heathen.
Learn not the way of the heathen. All right, so a lot of people hear this scripture, they quickly run to say, oh, you're doing heathen customs. But the biggest heathen custom is being superstitious. Right? The biggest heathen custom is to create gods out of things. Because the heathens have no God. We have a God. Right? The power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is the only one and true God. So when you are giving any other God some sort of power, whether it be to run away from it or to run to it, right? Who are you serving? You're doing a heathen custom. Read on.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
At the what?
At the signs of heaven.
Right, the stars now. Because the heathen, read on.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
So what did the heathen do? They worship stars that's in the heavens. That's where you get the star Molech. What was the other star you mentioned? Griffin? Right. Where you get all these stars of heathen worshiping, they're in the heavens, these stars. They're not on the store shelf. Okay? They're in the heavens.
So when they say that in the scriptures, I think it's Acts 7:43, we was worshiping the stars.
The what?
It says in Acts 7:43 that we was worshiping the star of Griffin.
Right.
Not doing this.
We're looking up, man. We're looking up. Gates and just like what we just read here in Jeremiah 10, exactly what we're doing. What he just told us not to do. Right? Don't be dismayed by the stars of heaven for the heathen displays at. So we're looking up and we're saying, that's the star. Oh, that star. That's the special star. I saw the star. Now, our forefathers, they were able to read the stars. Why? How did the wise men know that Yahweh was being born? What did they read? They read the stars. Right? But they didn't make a god out the star. They knew that when that star showed that this was the prophecy of Yahweh being born. So they knew what to do. And they praised the Most High Yahweh. They didn't praise the star. So look at that. It's a good example. The wise men were able to look upon the stars and not get a romance by it, but follow it and say, okay, this is what it's telling me. All praise to Yahweh. We are not to be afraid of a star. We are.
For the customs of the people are vain.
Right, the customs of the people are vain, and they have no worth, no value. Their customs are vain. You cannot do nothing. Okay? Don't be afraid of them. So what if they do a voodoo over there? Don't be scared. Right? You serve Yahweh. They can't do nothing to you. You understand what I'm saying? It's in your mind, in your spirit. You give things power. If you don't give it power, don't have none. We weaken ourselves by giving things power. Read.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest,
right,
the work of the hands of the workmen, with the axe. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not.
Right. So let me see that here. Is it against the law to cut a tree out of forest? Right? But now, if you're going to start decorating the tree, why are you decorating the tree? Right? Because you're following a custom of the heathen. Of course, it's talking about Christmas or any other holiday where they decorate a tree, right? Because they believe they're doing something good by following this custom. But this custom is based on worship of man, right? Read on.
They fasten it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. They are upright as the palm tree, but speak not.
Right.
They needs be born.
Come on.
Because they cannot go.
Come on.
Be not afraid of them.
Be what?
Be not afraid of them.
That's the key right there. Don't be afraid of them. Don't be afraid of what? Don't be afraid of what?
Idol. Idol. Talking about the idol.
The idol, right? Don't be afraid of the idol. Don't be afraid of the tree. Don't say, oh, I can't go over there. You got the tree. The tree is nothing. Everybody understand this? That's why God said, don't be afraid of it. It can do you nothing. Can't do anything to you unless you give it power. Okay?
I have a precept to add on.
All right, what you got?
Psalm 35, verse 15.
All right. Finish right here.
For they cannot do evil.
Right?
Neither also is it in them to do good.
They can't do nothing. That's the thing about a dumb idol. It's called a dumb idol because it can't do anything. Dumb doesn't mean like stupid. It means that it just can't do it. It's just there. Dumb is like this is dumb. It can't do anything. It can't move. It doesn't move anything. It's not just speaking. It can't do anything. But sit there. A dumb idol can only sit there. It can't speak, it can't move, it cannot make anything happen, it can't stop anything from happening. It's a dumb idol, it has no power. Alright? Let me get this precept. 135 Psalms.
Oh, I got a precept on. Was in Psalm 13 and 11.
Right. So don't give any idols any power. Don't be afraid of anything. No. Look at that up there.
It says Psalm 135 and what? 15.
The book of Psalms, chapter 135, verse 15. For the idols of the heathen are silver and gold,
right?
the work of men's hands.
Works of who hands?
Men's hands.
Men's hands. You give the idol power. Read on.
They have mouths, but they speak not.
Right.
Eyes have they, but they see not.
Can't see, they can't move, they're not alive. Read on.
They have ears, but they hear not.
Come on.
Neither is there any breath in their mouths.
Right, so what is it talking about? A statue that people make out to be an idol, statues. Read on.
That they that make them are like unto them.
Right.
So is everyone that trusteth in them.
Right, so if you about worshiping statues and making statues, you just like those statues. You ain't saying nothing, doing nothing anyway. Right? Most High take any power you had away from you because you give it over to idols. Okay. So we know not to give to idols. That's where Solomon fell, right? Huh? He started making idols to the other gods. He knew they was nothing, but he's not to make these nothing gods. Okay. He's not to make these nothing gods. He did it for his wives. You know what I mean? Because they were from other nations and they believed in these things. So he did them as gifts. But then what? You profaning the Most High's land. You can't have these things being created. We can't suffer sin according to nobody. Even if we know this is a devil, you can't make him a devil doll. No, it can't come from you. Evil cannot come from you. Everybody understand that? Okay. No matter who you're dealing with, evil can't come from you. If they want to deal with evil, let them go get it from the wicked. Let the wicked deal with the wicked. You the righteous. You ain't supposed to be dealing with the wicked or wickedness. Everybody understand that? Okay, very important concept to understand. All right. What precept you have?
Wisdom of Solomon 13:11. It's a long one. That's good.
That'll probably be the last precept. We'll recap.
It's pretty long.
The book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 11. Now a carpenter that felleth timber, after he hath sawn down a tree, met for the purpose, and taken off all the bark skillfully round about,
right,
and have brought it handsomely, and made a vessel thereof, fit for the service of man's life.
Right.
And after spending the refuse of his work to dress his meat, hath filled himself, and taking the very refuse among those which serve to no use, being a crooked piece of wood,
right,
and full of knots, have carved it diligently when he had nothing else to do, and formed it by the skill of his understanding,
right,
and fashioned it to the image of a man.
To what?
To the image of a man.
Right, so what is this? You're making a statue. Fashioned it to the image of a man. I'm going to make this, it's going to look just like him. You know?
Or made it like some vile beast.
Come on.
Laying it over with vermilion and with paint color, coloring it red, and covering every spot therein.
Right, making it look beautiful. You know?
And when he had made a convenient room for it, set it in a wall, and made it fast with iron.
Come on.
For he provided for it that it might not fall, knowing that it was unable to help itself. For it is an image.
What is it? What?
For it is an image.
Come on.
And have need of help.
And it has need of help. The man got to give it power. It's an image, and the men got to give it. Our people give it power. So these stars of Molech, these stars of Griffin, all this stuff, you got to give it power. It has no power if you don't give it power. All right? The shield, the diagram of the shield is a natural occurrence. Okay? It's a natural occurrence that was observed by our forefathers, just like in nature, just like we observe it. Right? If they didn't worship it, we're not going to worship it. But if somebody want to take it and start worshiping it, that's on that person. Okay? Everybody understand that? All right, so, Just be mindful of understanding what idols are and not being caught up in idols and things of that sort. So we're going to recap a little bit. We went over a lot of different, well, not a lot of different topics, but we touched upon the week, understanding what a week is. We touched upon the new moon, no, the Sabbath by the new moon, right? How that can't be, right? That is not mathematically possible, right? We touched upon the full moon, understanding what kisa means. It means hidden, right? Or covered or closed. It cannot mean giving light or covered with light. It's the opposite of what the word means. What else did we cover?
Israel's understanding about times and the
Right, the understanding of times.
So I don't know if it's
Reading of stars.
Wisdom Psalm 7:17.
The months, the moon, right? All right, so listen. Words of wives. Any doctrine, any understanding, anything that you need clarity on, bring it, we'll analyze it, we'll break it down, we'll get the full understanding. All right? If everybody presents their knowledge convincingly. It takes the scrutiny of your mind, right? And the fact that you have received sound doctrine up until this day. That the doctrine that we bring forth has been tested, has been tried over and over and over again. We just don't believe stuff and just run with it. We try, we knock it up against any other thing that comes out to see what stands. Okay? That's called sound doctrine. Okay? We have to move forward with sound doctrine. It keeps the family together. It keeps us flowing. It keeps the spirit right. Huh? All right, so tomorrow, noonday, we have the portion. We're starting Genesis again, right? We're about to start over. So you sit through the next year of portions, you will get the whole Torah, precept upon precept. All right, line upon line. All right. Are there any questions?
The new moon is when it's a new moon, are we supposed to buy and sell?
Do what?
Can we buy or sell on the new moon?
Give me Amos.
8 and 5.
You know what it is. What's that question?
The book of Amos, chapter 8, verse 5, saying, when will the new moon be gone?
Right?
That we may sell corn.
So we may do what?
Sell corn.
So that's what? Selling, right? So they want the new moon to go away so they can do what? Go sell. You know?
And the Sabbath, that we may set forth wheat.
And the same thing on the Sabbath. They wanted to go what? Sell on the Sabbath too. They want to go make that money. So they want these days to be gone so that they can make their money. Okay? So no, you cannot buy and sell on the new moon or the Sabbath. Okay? Any work you do, anything you provide, has got to be for the Most High. That's how you stay out of trouble on the Sabbath. If you're busy working for the Most High on the Sabbath, you ain't got to worry about it. But you get getting what you want for you, then you got to think about what am I doing? Because the Sabbath and the new moons or the high holy days is about the worship and the service of the Most High God. All right? So whatever we do on those days, it's got to be for the Most High. Huh? Any other questions? All right. Well, that said, I imagine we'll put that in the rush.
Can you do that the eighth day on the calendar? You take it all the time.
Okay. We'll do one more time. Give me back, what month is in March? We just go back.
Yeah.
I think that's accurate.
Fuck it.
You pass it. Okay. Well, pull up the screen. There you go. Right. So we count again, right? What day is the new moon according to this calendar? Everybody see it? Everybody can see it. What is it? The 6th, right? Con?
Con.
All right, we'll wait now. So what's the next moon? What's the next Sabbath? What will be the Sabbath if we count 7 days? 13. What is the next Sabbath? 20th. What is the next Sabbath? What is the next Sabbath? The 3rd, right? Hold on. When is the new moon? The 5th. So what do we do with that 4th day? What do we do with it? What day of the week would it be? There's only 7 days in a week. What day of the week would it be?
That's a floating day.
It can't be.
We're gonna make that day float around.
It's 7 days in a week.
Maybe it's number 7.
Huh?
Maybe
Maybe it's a double Sabbath?
Double Sabbath.
An extra Sabbath? Can anybody give me a scripture that says double Sabbath?
I don't think Israel can handle a double Sabbath.
Right? Israel have a hard time with the one Sabbath.
Yeah.
I don't think they can handle double Sabbath. I think they were shut down. All right, so that's the understanding, right? And if you do the calculations for, and I can go deeper into that. That's just 1 month. But if you do the calculations for the Feast of Pentecost, that totally throws off that idea that you can do the Sabbath by moon. Because 50 days is 7 Sabbaths plus 1 day. 50 days is 7 Sabbaths plus 1 day. So they can only be 50 days in 7 Sabbaths. 7 times 7, 49, plus 1 day, 50. So it's impossible to come up with that number any other way, right? That's a beautiful thing about math. You can't trick math, right? Either you have it or you don't have it. It's nothing personal about how you feel about it. You either got it or you don't have it, right? All right, so, Most High is a mathematical genius. He created math. So we're just trying to learn math. He created math. And everything you see that he does is mathematical. I'm not getting into numerology, right? But there's some truth in there about how the Most High works in a mathematical way. All right? So it's just not given to us by the laws, statutes, and commandments to get too much involved in it. All right? So with that being said, my name is Washington, Jerusalem. Hallelujah.
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 Who's the power?
Yahweh's power.
Who's the power?
Yahweh's power.
By Hashem?
Yahweh's shine.
By Hashem?
Yahweh's shine.
Mashiach Kulau, Lord's Prayer, Relashon Kodash. Repeat the Hebrew. Abinao, Shabbat Shemayim,
Shabbat Shemayim.
Kodash,
Kodash.
Haya,
Haya.
Shamka,
Shamkar.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Olakwavka,
Rakakar.
Taba'am,
Taba'ar.
Ratizaka,
Zaika.
Haya,
Haya.
Aisha,
Aisha.
Waharatiza,
Ratza.
Ka,
Ka.
Bashemayim,
Bashemayim.
Utalanawa,
Nawa.
Wachom,
Aham.
Ko,
Ko.
Yawom,
Yawam.
Wasalachna,
Salaknawa.
Kabawakina,
Kabawaknawa.
Kasalachna,
Salaknawa.
Kabawakina,
Kabawaknawa.
Wala'a,
Wala'a.
Tabiya'anawa,
Tabanawa.
Walasaiwan,
Saiwan,
Abo,
Abo,
Awashai,
Awashai,
Onrai,
Morai,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Laka,
Laka,
Amalakra,
Malaka,
Waha'ala,
Wa'ala,
Watai Ra,
Wakai Torah,
Wa'aywalam,
Ayelum,
Wahasham,
Hashim,
Amashiach,
Mashiach,
Yahushai,
Yahushai,
Amen.
Aman.
Book of Matthew, chapter 6, verse 9. After this manner, therefore, pray ye, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. For if you forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you forgive not men their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. Bahasham, Hamashak Yahushai, the water, the Miyad, Amen.
Amen. Give us our hand. Who you got? All right. Tomorrow, noonday, we start back Genesis, the portion reloaded. Shalom to all the family online. Who's online? You check it in? Who's going to check it? Who's online?
Yeah, Central.
School of Drones. Shalom to School of Drones.
How be best?
How's the best?
Yeah. Tomorrow, you guys, he said.
The boys?
Yeah, the boys.
All right, tomorrow the boys. Shalom.
Chanel Hall.
Chanel Hall. Shalom.
Yoromia, Yasharala.
Who?
Yoromia, Yasharala.
Romeo Yasharala. Shalom.
Liddell
champion. Shalom. Yahuwah ben Israel. Hallelujah. Shalom. Soldier of Judah. Shalom. Missile what?
1/3.
Missile 1/3. That's a dangerous brother right there. Shalom. Missile 1/3.
Is this next week?
Yeah, it's next week. Yeah, I'm going.
Makita.
Yeah, just hit me up when
Makita
you go.
Nurse. Shalom.
I'm coming. How long it took me to move? Because Lila, I had to look at the Instagram picture I had took. I was looking at the background. I'm like, oh, that's a Russian background. I had to screenshot it too.
I know they see this. Like 7